Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. The crystal flutes were already raised when my father said it. Emily, my greatest gift, he announced, his voice polished with pride. Thank you for giving me 2 perfect grandchildren. Applause rippled across the room. Smiles bloomed on cue. My son's fingers tightened around mine. He leaned in, barely a breath. But what about me? That's when I felt it. Not heartbreak but clarity. I didn't leave. I lifted my glass. And everything my father had built began to collapse. Years earlier, my father taught me how to balance a checkbook before he taught me how to ride a bike. Numbers matter, he said. Proof matters. Feelings don't survive audits. Emily was always different. Softer. Praised louder. Protected longer. When she announced her pregnancies, my father glowed like he'd personally done the work. When my husband died, there were casseroles and condolences, and then silence. I raised my son alone, paid the mortgage, worked nights, never asked. I thought endurance would earn me something. It earned me invisibility. The first crack came 6 months before the champagne. A phone call meant for someone else. My father's voice sharp, pleased. She doesn't need to know yet. The trust can be amended. I didn't hang up. I listened. Then I checked records quietly. Deeds. Beneficiary updates. Family LLC filings I'd helped organize years ago. Back when I was good with details. Emily's name appeared where mine had been. My son's column was blank. Patterns formed. Gifts disguised as gratitude. College funds announced publicly, never mentioned to me. Estate planning dinners I wasn't invited to. I didn't confront him. I prepared. Grief teaches patience if it teaches anything. I learned to sit with pain without flinching. I met with an attorney I trusted, not to fight but to observe. I pulled every document I'd ever signed for him. Every time I'd been a witness, a co-signer, a fixer. For decades he'd leaned on me. He'd underestimated the weight. I made copies, trails, timestamps. I said nothing. Then came the anniversary dinner. His 70th, black tie, white tablecloths. A photographer hired to capture legacy. My son wore the navy suit we bought secondhand. He stood straight anyway. Emily glowed. Her children were paraded like trophies. I knew the speech was coming. I could feel it in my father's chest, how he inhaled before praise. When he spoke, I watched the room. Who nodded? Who avoided my eyes? When my son whispered his question, something settled. This wasn't about inheritance. It was about erasure. I stood slowly. The room hushed, expecting gratitude. I clinked my glass once. I just want to say how grateful I am. I began, calm and steady, to have grown up learning the value of family and fairness. My father smiled. Relief. He thought this was obedience. I've been thinking a lot about gifts, I continued. The ones we give, and the ones we take without saying so. Confusion rippled. So tonight, I said, I brought one. I nodded to the photographer. The screen behind us lit up. Not with a photo but a document. Highlighted. Time-stamped. Gasps cut the air. I turned to my father. Remember when you asked me to help restructure the trust after Mom died? I asked softly. You said it was temporary. His face drained. I never told anyone, I continued. Because I believed you. Because I believed fairness wasn't performative. Click. Emails. Amendments. A note thanking Emily for her discretion. My father reached for his glass. Missed. Choked. I didn't raise my voice. I also learned something else from you, I said. That leverage is only dangerous when someone doesn't know they have it. I gestured toward my attorney waiting near the exit, polite as a shadow. The filings you moved quietly required consent, I said. Mine. Which you forged. Silence pressed in. The LLC was dissolved this morning, I added. Perfectly legal. The properties revert, including the one Emily lives in. Emily's smile shattered. I crouched beside my son and met his eyes. You matter, I said loud enough. Then I stood. I won't take what isn't given freely, I finished. But I won't allow what's stolen to stand. I placed my glass down untouched. I'm leaving now, I said. With my son. With my integrity. And with the quiet satisfaction of knowing legacy isn't what you announce. It's what survives scrutiny. I turned before anyone could clap. Weeks later, the dust settled. Calls came. Apologies shaped like excuses. I didn't answer. The trust was corrected publicly. My son's name restored. Not as charity, as acknowledgement. My father stopped hosting dinners. Emily stopped calling. He survived without ceremony. Some nights I replay the moment my son whispered his question. Not with anger. With gratitude. Because revenge isn't rage. Precision doesn't shout. It waits.